out on my TV to check out the daily news. The things I see that have me confused. Hey. The number of crime and violence I see on the street. Sometimes I'm frightened I cannot eat. Hey. But when you check out Grenada, we have no diamond and silver, but we just live in unity, and that's what makes me happy. Is then I come to realize, oh God, my country is a paradise. Hey. I love my Grenada, my homeland.
A pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And how are we doing this afternoon?
My grandfather, she will always prosper. Oh, my Grenada, land of peace and culture. Grenada is such a paradise. Oh God. But a lot of folks don't realize.
Welcome to everybody that is already on the live, both on Facebook and on YouTube.
We could make Grenada a better land. Hey. Mommy, oh.
How are we doing this afternoon? Not seeing nobody on the chat yet on my YouTube page. Alright. As I said, that one of my listeners are here. Go ahead right now and share the live.
Some things that does really make me unhappy
Today we are going to have conversations
is when I see people
as per usual. Class is presently in session, ladies and gentlemen.
questions about us, telling the whole world Grenadians, of course, if we should sit down and take this thing to consideration. It do no good for our nation, no. So if we want a country to be outstanding among the rest, we got to try some constructiveness. So I want to tell all you people who creating me trouble, it's time to check up on yourself and put hatred on the shelf. Then your eyes will open to see, oh God, a nice place Grenada could be, and you'll be proud. I love my Grenada, my homeland forever. Sing the chorus louder, tell them about Grenada, the land of my grandfather. She will always prosper. Oh, my Grenada, my food, clothes and shelter. Grenada is such a paradise, oh God. But a lot of folks don't realize, if we learn to pull we hand,
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Tag somebody right now. Let them know that we're getting ready to go inside now, man. Welcome to all my listeners.
oh my Grenada.
It is the 16th day of January. The time is approximately 5 minutes past the hour of 6. Mostly sunny on the outside throughout the length and breadth of Grenada. Had some inclement weather in the morning period. But ladies and gentlemen, guess what now? We're here, dry, in the classroom. With clothes looking clean. Uniform well pressed. Exercise book in bag. Pencil in hand. And we are ready. Gillian Patterson all the way out there in London. Want to big up the persons in the diaspora, boy. Saw some photograph today. I don't jealous all you. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so a pleasant good afternoon again, and we are tuned into our class in session. I tag already all on WhatsApp, somebody saying good afternoon, hello from Canada, Unison Joseph, good evening. So I didn't see Ron in class this evening, he late, don't worry, they expel he had to bring his parents. Ron rather not to bring his parents in school because we give him a letter. And unless he don't come back in school with his parents, we are not allowing him back in class. You know, he must get he must get permission first. Alright? From not the principal, you know. From the person in the yard. You understand? The security. So good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen, and how are we doing this afternoon? I want to say pleasant good afternoon again. I know I'm sounding repetitive, but I just want to ensure that I extend that good evening to each and every one of you guys, and to let you guys know that we are here for another conversation evening. All right. For the many of you all who are here in Grenada, I think that it is no secret now that we have been having some recent cases or emerged cases concerning COVID-19. And so even if the Ministry of Health does not want to inform you guys, I think that sometimes they say rum shop conversation is good conversation. Although we have heard nothing officially from any one of our media sources in terms of anything from the Ministry of Health, I can let you guys know that there have been conversations concerning the issue of COVID-19, and I want to read one of the excerpts from Facebook that one of the writers would have indicated such. All right, so I just want to read that out. It was written by one Linda Straker. She's saying Grenada is experiencing a continuous rise in COVID-19 cases when comparing the last 5 weeks of 2023 to the first week of 2024, or the period January 1st to the 8th. There was a total of 7 confirmed cases recorded for the period of November 2027 to 2023 to December 31st, 2023. All right, the epidology, or epidology week 48 to 52, but week 1 of 2024 of the period January 1st to 8th, the Ministry of Health recorded a total cases of 17 cases. All right, sorry for the pronunciation of that word. All right, Dory, I don't get it right. Sometimes you can get everything right, but however, it is the conversation that concerns COVID-19, and so we're asking persons to continue to do the precautious measures as it relates to what we experienced back in 2020, because we don't want any rise in cases as it relates to COVID-19. Remember, from since the time that we had that little bit of ease up, as we would say, we know that the cases have been there, and so we're just giving more and more information as time goes on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to start today's conversation solely and on the back of the Royal Grenada Police Force, and I'm not going to stick in the conversation. Right, let me say to you, ladies and gentlemen, that I can recall the last press conference held by the Royal Grenada Police Force as it relates to our crime and the crime update. I could recall, and anybody can, I am stand corrected, I can remember it was sometime May of last year, and it was mentioned that it was a quarterly report. I remember doing my program up until somewhere about October of last year, and again, I would have asked whether or not the RGPF is going to give us another report, and we have since had none of those information reaching us. No. This is quite alarming, with the significant increase in what I would consider to be an evolution in our criminal practices in Grenada, and understand where I'm coming from. Now, we're not saying that there wasn't issues in Grenada that concerned criminal practices. However, we have seen a new strain of those practices. We are seeing more persons now, more than ever, having conversation as it relates to the offense of robbery with violence. And most of the cases that have been reported, and we're speaking just randomly, nothing from the RGPF confirmed, but I'm saying to you, it is a random conversation that includes that of persons being held at gunpoint, in some instances knives, where persons are being robbed. This is a call for concern. I remember last week we had our lengthy conversation on the issue of gun violence. Now we are also seeing, this weekend last, we heard of in a long time, one of the most inhumane practices that I have ever heard in a long time in Grenada, where an individual was alleged to have been set on fire. Right? This again, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the criminal practices that we don't see a normal state in Grenada. Hence the reason why I said an evolution of criminal practices, right? We've also heard of a strange situation or situations whereby an individual was snatching an individual's bag in town in broad daylight. And so due to camera footage, the person or the perpetrator was seen and he would have brought back the bag. Based on information also is that it have been a practice that have been happening within the town. So we're asking whether or not the RGPF are getting those reports, whether or not those persons, when committing the offenses or having committed the offenses, they're going back and apologize, because we're not hearing anything about those cases. Absolutely nothing are being heard when it concerns those evolution of criminal practices that we're hearing. Right? I spoke last week, very briefly, as it relates to another trend, whereby our young ladies are seen being involved in public fights. And many persons are using it as a social media push. Many persons are looking for social media likes and comments when it comes to this. Now, it is alarming, one, because it involves females. Whether or not the circumstances involves faithfulness from partners, maybe individuals might be sharing the same partner, whether it not be community issues, but we're actually seeing, ladies and gentlemen, and having followed it, because it's on social media, you're seeing those individuals literally sending Facebook threats and videos, making plans that, hey, we're meeting there and we go fight there. No, this is alarming. Because when you have intended criminal practices, because fighting in a public place is an offense. Now, if you have intended criminal practices and they're making plans to fight, what is stating that these individuals may not be carrying on them weapons? Why it cannot be that those individuals be met and their parents be met and ask for this to cease and desist? No, I don't know whether or not it involves if the individuals were school children, right? And even if they are school children, I think it is even more easier. It is even more easier to deal with it because you know where those individuals are. You can go to their schools and have them disciplined. But we have been in recent days realizing that many persons have been using Facebook and other social media to promote certain things more on the negative aspect, right? And not ask whether or not those issues can be dealt with, right? It is a conversation, ladies and gentlemen, that have raised its head, and so we're asking the authorities to deal with same. Which takes me to my next point, because I just want you guys to know that sometimes I break the ice with some social issues instead of just jumping into the political conversation. Now, again, an excerpt from Linda Strachan. We're going into a very current issue, and I want persons to sometimes understand that when persons have issue, and I always mention that on my program, that there is moral respect and there is legitimate understanding. What is and what shouldn't be. Now, and let me give you a simple reference. Now, it is only protocol that even if you're asked as a parent to go to or called into a school, or maybe you're asked to come in by a manager of a business, and this place or this area has a level of security, I think it is morally correct that even if the principal would have asked you or whomever would have asked you to come to the building, when you get there, it is morally correct that you meet with the security or whomever and you say, I'm going to see the principal. That is morally respectful. That is what we call moral respect, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I believe to ourselves here in Grenada, we tend to not understand what moral respect is. Now, if you're an individual who's working at an area, let's say you're parking vehicles, or you're inviting persons into a building, and they said to you, okay, ministers of government and parliamentary representatives are to park here. Now, even if Dr. Mitchell, or maybe Peter David, or whomever, comes to the area, it is morally correct that you deal with that individual based on the position that they hold. And this respect given should not be one where you're begging for it. But it is protocol. And it alarmed me yesterday that persons are asking, why is it the opposition is so disgruntled about the pinning of those items to the secondary school students? Now, let me tell you what the issue here is. The issue here is not that the opposition or members of the opposition is disgruntled that the pinning is being done. That is not the issue here. The issue here is by whom the pinning is being done and by whom the pinning should be done. Now, we are celebrating our 50th independence. And every member of parliament, not government, understand this, that every member of parliament needs to play an integral role in the whole independence aspect. This is not a ministerial post. This is the state celebrating an independence. And we tend to forget this, that the state membership is made up of parliamentarians, not ministers of government. They are made up of parliamentarians. And when we speak parliamentarians, we speak of persons who would have earned or won their seat during the last general election. That is what parliamentarian takes. Now that differs from ministerial position or ministers of government. That is the difference. So if the government of today is doing something that concerns the 50th independence celebration, then, ladies and gentlemen, it is only protocol. It is only protocol that if you're doing it within every constituency, it therefore means that every parliamentarian that represents the constituency is responsible for that pinning. Let me take that again if you didn't understand what I say. There are 15 constituencies in Grenada. Right? And if there is a 50th independence celebration taking place in the state, and it means that there is a pinning to be done to every secondary school within the length and breadth of Grenada. Remember, the government is made up of a 10-5 majority. So therefore, it means 5 of those constituencies are not solely responsible or falls under the government. They are oppositions and they are opposition members. So my thing is that it is only protocol that if you're doing such, that when you get to St. Mark's, the pinning in St. Mark's should be done by the parliamentary representative from St. Mark's. It goes on that if you're in the town of St. George, the parliamentary representative, once there is a secondary school within their scope, should be the person responsible. And that is simple protocol. That is simple understanding. And I want to read one of the excerpts from Facebook that I saw yesterday. From Linda Straker again. She says, so yesterday, I saw a press release about the pinning ceremony at the secondary school. I shook my head and said, good initiative, But my evening was asking myself some question. He says, among the question is, when did Tessa Sincere became a government minister or a current member of parliament? The release from the GIS made it clear that it was a ministers of government and members of parliament. It never said former members of parliament. From my observation, Miss Sincere seems to be in places herself, in places where she keep placing herself, where she do not belong. It's time she knows her boundaries. When ministers of government was announced on June 30th, 2022, she was not announced or appointed as a minister or a member of parliament. But there she is in the group photo, and now this pinning ceremony. Photos of her pinning students at the event that is the minister of government and members of parliament. Why is she doing those things when she don't have any portfolios? There is boundaries between government and party, and somebody should inform Mrs. Sincere where that boundary lines. If the NDC has appointed her as the caretaker of the constituency, she needs to know that the boundary line of party work, government work, and members of parliament work. The constituency of St. Andrews North East is represented in the parliament by an opposition member, and she needs to respect the constituency's choice. How could a person with a doctorate do not know where the boundary line when it comes to the government work and party work? Mrs. Sincere can and should do better, because you knows better. You are not a member of parliament. You are not a cabinet minister or minister of government. Do not accept any of this capacity. Note well, I stand by my word. Ladies and gentlemen, if that is not clear enough for you guys, then I don't know what is. There is a protocol, not a protocol, excuse me. Not a protocol that have been established, right? The state have decided as to whom they believe should represent them in the House of Parliament. The government of the date decided who they wanted as ministers of government. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it is only right. It is only right and must be understood that there are issues that lies between both what party is responsible for and what government is responsible for. The celebration that is taking place is not the anniversary of the National Democratic Congress. It is not the pinning ceremony of persons who want an NDC button. It is not an initiative that started in 1974 by the National Democratic Congress, and so we're celebrating 50 years of it. This is the state's concern. This is the state's involvement. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to that responsibility, it must be understood holistically by all and sundry that when these things of the state is happening, it must involve the parliamentary representative and ministers assigned. Now, if you contact the parliamentary representative and he or she decides to send a representative, because let's take into consideration the St. George's Northwest area. Brother Lacrette, Mr. Lacrette, is a minister of government. However, he is not the parliamentary representative. Now, which one stands out? Which one is of more importance? Now, when you're doing those things and what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, even if you say to the Grenadian people, you know what? We extended an invitation to the opposition or the members or the parliamentary representatives from Her Majesty's opposition, and they refuse. persons can still stand and say, me, I'm telling you personally, I would stand and say, I believe that it was very, very low key of the government, of the parliament, of the opposition to have been given an an invitation and not go. I could have said, how could Dr. Mitchell and the team not do such? But when you blatantly did not, because when you go to places like the tongue of St. George, you have a parliamentary representative there because you clearly stated that ministers of government and parliamentarians, that is what you stated. That is whom you stated that the pinning ceremony is going to. And nobody come in and tell me, oh, NNP making noise to pin something on children. Listen to me. It's an initiative of the government. I am expecting that government sends an invitation to every member on the opposition side when there is an independence activity taking place in the state. If you have something where you're opening a place or you're doing something and you don't want to send it to them, fine, that is your business. But when you have an independent celebration taking place, when you have a national issue, a national celebration taking place, is it expected? It is expected. If government is having, let me say, the Carifta Games that are coming up, I am expecting that the Ministry of Youth, to send invitations or tickets or passes maybe to parliamentarians within those different districts or different constituencies, because it's a state. It is a state achievement. We need to understand this. Some persons like, oh, NNP making noise because they don't pin something on some children. You're looking at it as just that is scratch at the surface. That is the scratch of the surface. But there may be other national issues. National issues that, and we're just into it. All right, let me just read a comment. Somebody saying, "All you forget the very first parliament sitting of this new bunch of incompetent NDC." Let's try not to. So then when I'm reading, I was trying to read fast. The NDC, whatever, they purposely left out the names of members of opposition side in the program sheet. All you feel this was a mistake, and had it not been so openly noticed, them NDC hongs would have said, we lie. Now listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, and let me say this openly and without no fear or favor. This, other than the lighting of the carnage, I can't believe that we are celebrating 50 years in Grenada. Other than passing on the carnage, there is nothing that overwhelms you in that budget negotiated amount that you think that there is a spending that is happening to say to the Grenadian people, we are really saying 50 years independence celebration is approaching. I am going to openly again commend the initiative of the pinning yesterday. Open, it's a great initiative. You can run from that, ladies and gentlemen. Despite what side of the table you are on. Great initiative. Lovely. But you see, at the end of the day, it's not what you do, it's how you do them. It's not what you do, but it's how you do them. So, ladies and gentlemen, we see that pinning thing as nothing. But let me say to you, after celebrating the mere fact that Eric Machigeri would have earned our independence, what do you think should be the most significant thing to be recognized? A person to be recognized should be one of our longest serving prime ministers that we have ever seen through the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Quidimadic. But let me say to you openly, and mark my words, that come this independence celebration, you ain't go hear Dr. Mitchell name mentioned at all. Because that is significant. That is significant. And no other name to be mentioned during an independence celebration than the person who served the longest in the state. And giving him his kudos as it relates to him paving the way politically, development, and otherwise But I can say to you, you would quicker see a green pink jackass run around St. George's before you hear these people give the recognition and kudos that should be given to Dr. Mitchell. Because just by yesterday's indication, you would realize that these people's thoughts or in their head is still of the belief that the 50th anniversary of Grenada Caricon Treaty Martin is an NDC campaign. It's a political gimmick. It is with the intention to vote, to get some votes next general election, and not understanding the significance of state before politics. And the thing about it, when you get to them, as it relates to what they specifically have to do, when you go to them and you say to them, this is what you have responsibility for. You understand me? Somebody say, the principal said it was a good initiative, so I tried to find out. Well, initiative in its sense, Carla, is that now it may seem as, yeah, he's just peeling, but I see getting our kids involved, or school children involved in our 50th anniversary. It's to me, it's a wonderful initiative. Sometimes you just have to, when the chiefs lie, you give it to them. I think it's a good initiative, right? I think it's a wonderful initiative. And as I was saying, the specific thing that they have to be responsible for, they usually are not. They usually are not. Because particular members are still being asked questions like this.
Me talking, I don't see no intrusion. Nothing like taking place in St. John's. When we see them today, we look at St. John's and we look at what taking place. Nothing taking place. The MP don't even looking at us. Listen, we don't know nothing what taking place now because the people who are there in the office for the National Democratic Congress, they don't give out no information. Everybody, how do you call it again? Let me see. They just there online and they want no information. St. John's is lack of information.
An honor to stand before you today to support this exciting and optimism as we unveil the ride, e-bike rental excursion and tour business.
So you understand, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you give them their task, when they are expected to perform their task, whatever responsibility you give to them, you always find it. You ever realize, ladies and gentlemen, that this is a bunch of persons that illuminates when they're in a group. So you see 5, 6 of them in a group together and there is something being done. Everybody in the picture look all jovial and happy and gay. You know, they're happy. You understand me? You would see them when you do that. Because at the end of the day, when we're in their group, when they're in their scope, they glean, they laughing, they on bike, they dancing whenever they're in their group. Because as a bunch, the intention to show the Grenadian people is that, hey, we're doing thing, boy. So when you see them, as I said, together, you tend to see them jovially grinning, everybody laughing, everybody seems like there is nothing happening. But you separate them and you put them on their own scale. Separate them and put them on their own scale. Weigh and balance them. Say, listen to me. Okay, let me separate you guys. No more everything together. So let's put the minister of this here. And let's put the minister of that there. Or the parliamentary representative for there. Or for that constituency. And find out what is going on. Because when you see them in the gala and the group photos and the cutting ribbons in different places, they look happy. They look like something is being done. But as old people say, when you sift them out, when you shake them, they stay back in the strainer. like weevil, because they're not fine enough to make the grade. They're not fine enough to make the grade. So they would always try to portray to a Grenadian people that everything is fine. Everything is fine. So you see, last week they launched some e-bike something, and all of them nice thing they tongue. Prime Minister Lade Kane. And you see the initiatives. The initiatives, and I always say sometimes you all read in my mind because Katia was just going through that conversation. You can't say to me that at this stage, with less than what? 2-3 weeks from independence, there is no wow to this mammoth amount of money that you heard allocated for the spending for our independence parade. Oh, sorry, independence, 50th and independence. What is the wow? What is so extraordinary? What is so extraordinary? And I'm going to give you guys a suggestion. Because at the end of the day, we are all Grenadians and people have to see that. I cannot understand why, and maybe I might say it now and you might see it next week and you hear they say, hey, we had that in planning. During the Christmas time, we have the botanical gardens lit up. When we have quarantine point, you telling me that these persons are not sound-minded enough to understand that there is nothing wrong, or it's a great initiative to involve maybe an independence city, an independence community, an independence extravaganza, an independence location, that where you go maybe this time of the evening and you go and you see all maybe pictures of historical persons or something like that. Yeah, there's an NNP mind. We bright so. So if you want to use the Botanical Gardens ground with Eric Matthew Gary's monument being right there, you beautify the entire area. So in the evening time, 4-5 in the evening, you can go up there and maybe see pictures or photographs or maybe videos that exemplify our independence or 50th. Take the idea, take it. Don't pay me for it. Take it. You don't need to pay me for it. Because at the end of the day, you're not seeing that $7.1 million only going into Orlando and them pocket for Papi Show. A set of thing being posted on social media. People don't want to see that. Man take his family, maybe on the evening time, drive down to the Botanical Gardens. You put something nice by the monument of Eric Matthew Gary. You drive into the Botanical Gardens, you may be able to see pictures of Maurice Bishop and other prime ministers and governor generals. Maybe you could have a nice little tape running, persons doing maybe little folk dance, have a nice little band, engage people to give all your ideas, NMP mind. Because if we dare things like that we're doing, the carnage, even if you don't want to use the Botanical Gardens, you use every Saturday leading up to Independence, that you make the carnage an Independence Avenue, you could call it that. Or the Independence area for celebration. Every Saturday you get a nice band, the whole of the carnage lit up already. And you have a nice extravaganza every Saturday. Maybe you feature Calypsonians, pan, whatever it might be. I have to tell all you that $7.1 million me foot. Wait is because you're not seeing the initiatives. You're not seeing the initiatives. You're not seeing that. You have persons all over the place. Only, oh, well, watch how much for a jersey and so on. Government can even put up an initiative, print a few jerseys, give it out. All you're doing it during campaign. All you're doing it during campaign, print a few nice jerseys. Let me see the money spending. Set a shoppiness on Facebook and only posting up thing there and posting thing there. Tell all you, when it comes to NNP brain, we just think outside of the box. Somebody saying, we that us do thing. We that us do thing. We are used to the, well, somebody's mentioned it, the Calypso Monarch. Bring a little thing to it. You could even have a junior Calypso Monarch for the Independence Parade this year. I mean, come on, man. Think outside of the box. Man, nah. can't believe yet that there is nobody in Grenada. Somebody says 15 million? Nah, man. Me not getting it wrong. Me that maybe getting it wrong. Somebody say 15 million. Well, I was saying 7.1. You understand me, ladies and gentlemen? Initiative. Things that is supposed to bend back on. Things that is supposed to bend back on. Such a pappy show. Waste of resources. And you see at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, when you put it, yeah, gala again. Never see a man could have gale, so I mean gale can't pronounce the word properly. Come on. We need to think outside of the box. We need to be this person, and since last year, since the Independence Day parade, you're realizing that these people lack protocol. They don't know what to do. When you see them, they're like headless chicken. 15 million, somebody's correcting me. Right? And they're boasting as it relates to persons traveling to Grenada for Independence Day parade. So what they coming and see? What they coming and see? What they coming and see? What is the wow about coming to Grenada to eat island? There is nothing that pulls them on an evening time from being home. So when they come in, they drop on the airport. What is the wow? What is the wow? Some of them who have the opportunity to pass on the carriage may see the lights. What takes them out of the house? What drives them? And you see sometimes I tell you, when we talk things, people come, hey, everybody coming for carnival. Everybody, I want to come for carnival. When you bring them here for carnival, what is the wow? Where you take them out to go? That they pay for a plane ticket, they come here, they pay the taxi man, they have to go in the shop, lower down the road to drink by the friend. What takes them out of the house? What is government's initiative to bring people away and to the events that may help maybe a little economic drive? So we're boasting about plane load coming down for independence and what? Does that drive that they buying? Or does that drive the economy? More or less? We have seen tourist boats here and he still have vendors at Bali now. Oh, people are buying nothing. So what drives? What gives? What makes the people want to be here and celebrate our 50th independence with us? Somebody saying free plane ride. I want a little ride on a plane. So we see that these people have the tendency to not think outside of the box. We see that these people have the tendency to not understand what drives a people. Because at the end of the day, a lot of foreigners come in here and watch people vex him. Because a lot of people are going to stop them and ask them, would you like to have a flag? And they say, how much for a flag? $10. Eh? You see the foreigners swell up if it's $10. You go in and a man say, oil long, I would like to oil long. What for the oil long? $20, $25. All that? And they don't buy the oil long. They go and buy some KFC. That is what is happening. We can't run from it. So what gives? What drives? Put a nice little toll some way. You put a little bar in the botanical gardens or wherever, as I said, maybe on the carnage. You do a nice little extra. Foreigners like that. They are accustomed to the oil long and the flag overseas. So you do something outside. So you do a nice extravaganza on the carnage. From the time you break by the police station there is bar, there is local food, everything local. You do some nice little bars, you do some nice little cuisines, something that brings our people outside of the United States or the UK and give them something different. Put some nice sitting areas, maybe on the carnage, line it up during the day, and all these nice things. But wait, how do that brain so? How do that brain so? Them kind of brain comes from the New National Party. And I see them doing it, Let me tell you this. I am not going to bet you. But if you wish, you could give me the money. This is going to be heard because he has snipers that are here. Good afternoon to the persons that are outside of the scene looking in. They go talk about it. They go talk about it and they go want it. Then again, as somebody is mentioning, it's a time when you get to dress up like clowns. Waiting to see that clown too much. Know how many of you all remember that clown a few years ago? Remind all you of him. Remind all you of the clown. Like to remind all your things, you know.
I now announce that Mrs. Delma Thomas, Member of Parliament for St. Andrew Northwest, will now become a member of the Cabinet and has been appointed as Minister for Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs with special responsibility for the Mungay Psychiatric Hospital.
I, Delma Thomas, do swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Minister for Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs with special responsibility for Mungay Psychiatric Hospital without fear, favor, affection or ill will.
Delma Thomas, Delma Damas, Thomas, what's your name? That's all we have?
But sometimes you need the crazies around in order to be able to deliver on something 30, 40 years. So that's how I feel about healthcare.
Tell all you something about the social media aspect of life. I even warn my kids about it. See your words. See the things you say on social media, the things you do when you're in the public scope. They come back and haunt you. Can you remember during the lockdown when the incident happened in the St. Patrick's area that Juve morning and persons were not supposed to be congregating? And it happened between the famous radio announcer both male and female, and I said we have an upcoming general election, and I said what if the other sides win the election? Let me tell you something. The God that we serve, he's not sleeping. See, the God we serve, the one that we don't see, he's not sleeping. And he have a tendency, ladies and gentlemen, to remind us as to what we say and do, that we ought to be careful. The Bible speaks about the tongue. The Bible speaks about the tongue and what we say and how it come back to haunt us. Somebody's asking me to play over the clip.
Delma Thomas, Member of Parliament for St. Andrew Northwest, will now become a member of the Cabinet and has been appointed as Minister for Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs with special responsibility for the Mungay Psychiatric Hospital.
I, Delma Thomas, do swear that I will faithfully execute
You should laugh when
the
you say
office
mental
of
hospital.
Minister for Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs with special responsibility for Mungay Psychiatric Hospital without fear, favor, affection or ill will.
Delma Thomas, Delma Damas, Thomas, what's your name? That's all we have?
But sometimes you need the crazies around in order to be able to deliver on something 30, 40 years. So that's how I feel about healthcare.
I tell you, the thing doesn't lie. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a crazy world that we live in, right? And sometimes we always say that social media has its good and its bad. And what we say sometimes recorded and how we say it. Somebody say, ah boy. That is how it's been said. That is how it's been said. That is how it was said. Maybe you want to hear the whole clip and they don't say, play the whole clip every year. We're not. We want the piece that we want. That's how we do it. We play the piece we want. You understand me? Ladies and gentlemen, it's a sad state in Grenada. And for those of us who wants to support our team and our side on the basis that we believe everything is going good, I can say to you this is a blatant lie. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a blatant lie. At the end of the day, listen to the prime ministers, and I wait that. And that's one of the things I'm waiting to recap. I want to hear the prime minister's address on Independence Day. I want to hear the Prime Minister's address. Maybe something within the past year or so in which he might be able to put in there. Well, we will hear pension payments. I could tell you. That's what you would hear. That's what you would hear. But you would hear every other initiative. And if not 70%, if somebody writes him a good speech, that 70% of the initiated things that have caused Grenada to gotten so far are initiatives that was led by himself, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Claudius Mitchell. And you can't run from that fact. 70%. Now that we are celebrating our 50th independence celebration, that is the utmost truth and fact that this gentleman, with his initiative and his party's initiative, that he ought to be recognized. Don't surprise you hear you go back and talk about Mongoose Gang and things. Just to not talk about Kid Mitchell. You may talk about Mongoose Gang. Then talk about the airport and other things. Just to get around the fact that at the end of the day, Grenada have not seen a dynamic leadership in our 50th celebration other than that in Dr. Mitchell. And wait as we see much more unfold for this 50th independence celebration. Much more to be unfold. A lot more. Because to them, the 50th independence celebration is a campaign rally. The National Democratic Congress is celebrating their 50 years as a political party. That is how they see it. That is how it is being seen by them and their supporters. So everything else must be party goons, party friends, and party supporters. Now let me say to you guys that there are going to be a 51st, and there's going to be a 52nd, and if God permits, 53rd, and much more. Much more to come, because the truth as it relates to what we're celebrating cannot be hidden. Will not be hidden. You know why? Because history is there, written for persons even way after us to be seen. Persons are going to come to Grenada for the first time and ask the question, who came up with this initiative? Why? How? Persons who never visited after 20, 25 years. May speak about the road system. May speak about the upgrade of Grenada, Carriacou, and Martinique. And when you have to answer that question, you cannot do call the new National Party's team to everybody that was there. Even, what the fella say? I wish I could have pulled the clip where he say that alone. Sorry, he's a real watching. Even Delma Damas, as he said. But with my the level of respect that I have, Honorable Delma Thomas. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it is written. The footprints are in the sand. And it would not be erased, not by this administration, nor any other. Because persons like us are going to remind our kids and educate our children as it relates to the person who made it all possible at the end of the day. You understand me? So don't worry. According to them, it's going to be all right. Somebody saying, pinning badges on children in school around the island. Yeah. The thing about it, at the end of the day, they lose their respect. See, sometimes I just wish, and I always say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I always believed myself in my heart. I believe Dr. Mitchell was too soft in that last campaign. I mean, I saw the last in him, in truth. As I know Dr. Mitchell is more vigorous on an election campaign, and I believe he was too laid back in this one. I think maybe we got overconfident. I believe even our supporters start to themselves, we didn't come with election day and vote, hey, we win already. And so many persons say, let me give the opposition a little try. And not the opposition, at the time the government is waiting, let me give them a little try. Then we voted for our opposition, and we're now dealing with a government that opposes everything. So they're both in and out of the queue, unbalanced. And that's what I'm saying. We need to understand the initiatives that have been taken. We could give them. We could give them that. We'd say that to them. And we could tell persons this. When they give in good initiative, we say, yeah, man, not bad, not bad. You understand me? Somebody said, I wonder how number 10 does feel when she hears the clip where NDC's mouthpiece called her Delma Damas. That she has no damn self-esteem at all. She made a cool foom. She made a cool foom for a few measly dollars at the expenses of her character. And that is what it is. Can't run from this, ladies and gentlemen. You understand me? These persons, no matter who were there, a part of the New National Party, they respected nobody. They respected not even the work of the New National Party. Nobody. Everybody to them was measles. Everybody to them, nobody. And now when you speak about the Prime Minister, persons are telling you, you have to be careful what you're saying. Ladies and gentlemen, Hirelings Promotion together with Graphic Song and 3A Productions, they present Rep Your Country's Color on February 7th aboard the Embassy. Boarding time 1 p.m., sailing time 2 to 6. Early bird tickets $70. Tickets are already on sale from since January 7th. Go enjoy that on Independence Day, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget Sunset City Spice Breadful Festival comes alive this February 19th. It would be on the Hard Court in Victoria. Go enjoy this music, fun, and entertainment. The Bradford Fest would be one to remember. Last year it was wonderful, man. All right. Brendan Trent's Promotion present Ice Green and Gold 50th Independence Cruise. That would be on Sunday the 4th of February. You have DJ Smiley, Graphics Blackstorm, Carl and Kyle. They would be on board. And all the way from Canada is Soul Vibes. All right. Tickets $70 about the Embassy, boarding time 1 p.m. And tickets you can get it on Brendan at the bus terminus and Chucky also. Sailors Promotion, they present bingo and dance that takes place out there in Corinth, Saturday the 3rd of February. That's out there in the big yard. Tickets are only $20. Event starts at 3, bingo at 6. You can dance after the bingo to the songs of Soul Vibration. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So don't forget to be a part of this one. This one takes place and you can be a part of it. All right. I don't know what you plan to do this Independence, but however, you can go enjoy any one of those events. I pray to God that I am going to be here. Say, look, Ghana spam coming to class. I saw it. Kala, I saw it. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is as usual a pleasure to have been here. It is 1 minute past the hour 7, and so I think it is only right that we end the program this evening. We're going to be back here again tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be here again. All right. Tomorrow is Wednesday. It is Interactive Wednesday. All right. We are going to find our conversation tomorrow. You're going to give your input. You will be able to call in tomorrow. You'll have conversations. And I believe we must interact. Let me hear from you guys. I can read comments. No many persons don't like calling in, so we can read your comments and so on. It's not like I would say your name before reading the comments. So we're going to be here again tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So don't forget. And don't forget this local product here to be a part of this one, right?
Are you having problems with pain? Well, we've got the solution. Use Nut Magic Pain Reliever today and feel the pain fade away. Nut Magic Pain Reliever is produced right here in Grenada by Black Hole Enterprise and can be used for the relief of sore muscle, joint pain, cramps, backaches, arthritis, and other related symptoms. It's magic in a bottle. You can find Not Magic Pain Reliever at major pharmacies and supermarkets on the island. Call or WhatsApp Black Gold Enterprise at 458-1330. Look for Not Magic Pain Reliever on Facebook and on Instagram, or send us an email at bgegrenada@gmail.com. Get yours today and say goodbye to pain. It's magic in a bottle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you again for being a part of this evening's class in session. My name is Royalty James. It was a pleasure being here. I love each and every one of you guys. God's blessings to each and every one of you guys. And to the people out there in the diaspora, be very, very careful based on what I'm seeing coming out there. It seems like it's a white New York City, all right? So you got to be careful and show that you use all gears required. Here in Grenada, I know there are some areas that might be experiencing some inclemency in weather, and so maybe overnight we may get a little bit of rainfall, and maybe into the morning. Just remember, if you're sending the kids out in the morning, you ensure that they have all the required cloaks that would help them to stay dry. All right, thank you very much, and you have yourself a wonderful, wonderful evening. All right, yours truly, Royalty James. It was a pleasure. All right.
That DJ is the first to bust that tune.
Yo, it's shiny. And I'm simply saying, pick up DJ Kevin on it. Take it slow.
Grenada is such a beautiful country, where comfort so much black makers of history. Man, I'm sure that many people will agree if I say she's blessed by the Almighty. Oh God, the standard of skills and talent we have down there in this land, it is too much for me to mention. Yeah. The level of education keep rising to higher heights. And if I'm wrong, don't say that I'm right. No, I want to tell everybody I'm so proud of my country. Don't care wherever I may be, I say Grenada belong to me. No country in this world could do the things that my country would do for me. I am proud. I love my Grenada, my homeland forever. Sing the chorus to the if we learn to pull we hand, do the little that we can, we could make Grenada a better land. Hey. Mommy, oh, sometimes when I go to a foreign country, such as the United States, who's so wealthy, I just beg the Father to have some mercy. When I see madness in society, oh God, sometimes I put on my TV to check out the daily news. The things I see that have me confused, eh? The number of crime and violence I see on the street. Sometimes I'm frightened I cannot eat, hey. But when you check out Grenada, we have no diamond and silver, but we just live in unity, and that's what makes me happy. Is then I come to realize, oh God, my country is a paradise, hey. I love my Grenada, my homeland forever. Sing the chorus louder, tell them about Grenada, the land of my grandfather. She will always prosper. Oh, my Grenada, land of peace and culture. Grenada is such a paradise, oh God. But a lot of folks don't realize If we learn to pull we hand, do the little that we can, we could make Grenada a better land. Hey. Mommy, oh.
Yo, shiny, and I'm simply saying, big up DJ Soulcaholic, taking soca to the top.
Some things that does really make me unhappy is when I see people here in my country creating some false impressions about us, telling the whole world Grenadians of course. If we should sit down and take this thing to consideration, it do no good for our nation, no. So if we want the country to be outstanding among the rest, we got to try some constructiveness. So I want to tell all you people who creating the trouble, it's time to check up on yourself and put hatred on the shelf. Then your eyes will open to see, oh God, a nice place Grenada could be, and you'll be proud. I love my Grenada, my homeland forever. Sing the chorus louder, tell them about Grenada, the land of my grandfather. She will always prosper. Oh, my Grenada, my food, clothes and shelter. Grenada is such a paradise, oh God. But a lot of folks don't realize, if we learn to pull we hand, do the little that we can, we could make Grenada a better life.